All right. So, Uncle Dan, you're going to now take us through some of the additional resources. Um, uh,
Yeah, at this
we are
point,
having a.
Roger, the plan at this point is to have kind of a break here, but far be it for me to allow this to be totally a break. We're going to go through some of these features, or rather, show some of the stuff about ANDOUC features. So we'll have starting again in another about 20 minutes. We'll start with Roger's presentation. But in the meantime, since we have an open mic, we thought we'd talk a little bit about what you can do with ANDOUC, the user community itself. So we'll go through a few features of that, and I have some resources that I want to show from an analytics perspective. This is freeform, people. I'm going to show the Slack workspace. So if you have some stuff that you can join and want to talk about this, we'll kind of open it up to people talking about stuff and what's going on. So some more information about Oracle Analytics. This is put together by the Oracle marketing department. And this will be these slides we'll make available as well in the Slack workspace as well for ANDOUC. But you can see lots of resources for learning more things. If you're not familiar, this YouTube channel has lots and lots of this. I'll show some examples of this, but these are all places where you can go for more ideas on Oracle Analytics on this. I mentioned the Slack workspace. You can watch that analytics channel that has the slides for today's sessions already in it. We post them as we do the presentation, and I'll show you what they can do if you want to join the community. If you click on this bit.ly link, this is what it's going to look like on here. And you can see, join us. We are meant to be a community, folks. So we do want you to join with us, continue. I like to do it with email, but I already am part of, as you might guess, this Slack workspace. So I'm going to show you a little bit of what this looks like and give you a sense of what you can see. This, you can see I have multiple workspaces I'm part of. But one of these is ANDOUC. That's what the logo looks like. And within that workspace, we have multiple channels. These are the other days for the graph channel. They talk about graph analytics and such. You can see what they're doing here, talking about what's going on with presentations coming up. But specifically for us today, here is the presentation slide deck for the Rosendin presentation that I was part of. Thank you, Carrie, for posting that up here. And I just seeded the conversation. Well, let me show first, if we come back here, you can see people talking about, what are you doing with the data visualization feature filters yet? This is a conversation between multiple people talking about what you can do with DV filters and canvases and what you can do in classic versus DV, a little bit of what Philippe was just talking about. So you can join that party, see all this conversation. You can see we have many people in the workspace that are joining. We encourage you to do that. And I posted something just to kind of get some things going. Has anybody used the Auto Insights feature with their data sets, or is that too new? And also, just as a tip, Philippe actually mentioned this if you were listening carefully, but I went and looked on our instance, and I found that the Auto Insights, you have to enable Auto Insights in the console in there. And so, just make sure you do that. Otherwise, you won't see the yellow light bulb. You'll say, hey, wait a minute, I don't see a yellow light bulb on mine. So just be aware of that. And then I found I also had to either reload my data set to trigger it, or you have to go and enable insights on the checkbox when you inspect the data set. So just a couple little things you have to go through when you're looking at that. So just be aware of a couple tips and share amongst the users. That's what the whole idea of this is, to share amongst different people on this. So join us and talk about all this. We have a general channel in general, and then various ones for various instances. We can talk amongst each other on here. All right. So that's the Slack workspace. Join us over there and start talking back and forth. We've had that Slack workspace for a while. couple of things. There's a website at andouc.org. If I click on that, you can see what that looks like. That's really a redirect to our domain. Originally, we're hosting this on, we're hosting this on andouc. If I click on andouc.org, it should bring us to analytics and data summit.org. That's what that looks like. So that goes to analytics and data summit.org, and you can see we talk about that. This is where you can find more things on our website. And if you come to Techcast days, you can see all about the Techcast days that we have going on. This is where you probably came to register. And this is where eventually we'll have the hopefully the PowerPoint slides on here. You can see the abstracts and such, but you can get it faster in the Slack workspace because it's real time. We can post it right then. Yeah. You can also look at our past events, previous Techcast days, previous summits, and so forth.
Yeah, and then if you go to Techcast itself, that's where we can. So, in addition to these Techcast days where we do them sort of seasonally, you're able to submit an abstract here for our, which we do Techcasts on a weekly basis as well, certainly every other week at least. And if you actually want to go into Dan's demoing here, but we'd love to hear from you. And as I said earlier in the presentation, in the Techcast day today, we're looking for people wanting to show us how they use Oracle technology to do amazing things. So yeah, if you're doing that in some way, obviously today's about Analytics Plus, but as you're aware, there's 3 categories. There's the Analytics Plus, there's the spatial and location area, and then there's also ML and AI. So there's quite a broad sort of strata of areas that you would be able to submit for. So please do submit some abstracts for us. We're always interested in looking for people to build up a pipeline of good Techcasts that people can consume and that the community can learn from.
Yep. Thanks, Roger. This is where we have our Slack workspace. You can see previous Techcasts. We have a bunch of them out here. It's at advanced. Out here, if you go to this YouTube channel, this is where we have a bunch of our Techcasts. And if you're not aware, we've been doing this for, Roger, 2-3 years now. Yeah. If you come back and look at videos on here, these are all of the different Techcasts we've been doing, whether they be part of Techcast days or individual Techcasts. And scroll through these, there is a wealth of information in here. And this is where we chop the individual Techcast days into their individual pieces. Thanks, by the way, to Wayne. Oh, that was him. Where's Wayne Van Sluis? That is our volunteer that chops them into the individual pieces on these, so you can catch individual presentations on here. So take a look at that on our videos, and then we have playlists on here as well. That is reachable via our Techcast, via our page on here, way at the top of our home page. If you look on here, if you don't remember the URL, can't find it, see this YouTube? That's where you can get to our YouTube channel for Analytics and Data Oracle User Community. So take a look at that. So that's where you can watch previous. So we have a newsletter. We put through stuff. You can tweet us at Analytic and Data. Notice no S here. There's a limitation on the long length of a name there. We also have a Facebook community and a LinkedIn community. So encourage you to join us in any of those. As well, we have merchandise, of course, good user group. And I'll even feature, I have one of these color changing mugs. Yes, I bought it. And that's what it looks like. And you can get also mugs and water bottles and so forth from our Analytics and Data Org /shop.
It's worth also mentioning, I know just in those, the designs are totally original. Abby Giles Haig, one of our volunteers, who I'll actually be hosting with on Thursday this week, actually designed these from scratch herself. So they're not sort of reused logos and things. They're actually
Yeah.
totally originally created, so they're good fun.
Cool. On the Slack Workspace, it's a desktop app, or you can use the web-based one. When you join, say hello. That's very appropriate in the general channel for people to interact. And you can also get to, if you don't realize you need to add sometimes those channels if there's something of your specific interest. And then encourage you to talk to other people one-on-one with that. So come join us. Some of the other analytics resources I wanted to showcase. Analytics library is out there with a bunch of great examples of analyses you can look at. This is still out there. By the way, if you aren't aware, sometimes these things moved around. They redesigned the analytics library on oracle.com/analytics. But there's some great downloadable data sets on here to look at in their Oracle Analytics library. So take a look at that. And this PowerPoint, as I said, will be up there with some of these links, and I'll try and post them also in the chat. Another resource that's available, if you're talking to somebody and they want to see what Oracle Analytics looks like, but you don't have an OAC instance, you can still get at it via Oracle Analytics Live. And so you can get at that. This is what it looks like. There are examples out there. I just log in. Notice there, I did not log in. And that's because it doesn't have, it's not because it has a cookie or something. I can click on individual favorites in here, take a look and click on, I don't know, US Stool donations. Guys, I haven't tried this. This is what I get for live demos. But this is then, I can run these analysis. Notice I can't change the settings. So it's not like this is a replacement for a full OAC instance. But if you just want to click through some canvases and see what Oracle Analytics look like, this is free, available to the world, no sign up, no anything required. Is available on oracle.com/ I think it's oracle.com/OAC live is available out there. So that's a resource that's out there for looking at, oracle.com/OAC live out there. There's an idea lab if you're not available. You want some feature in Oracle Analytics. This is where a lot of those ideas, you notice Philippe showed some stuff. This is where they come from, or at least where some of them come from. You go to this idea lab, you log on, and you can add your own requests and ideas, and you can upvote various requests that people are asking for. So request a default value for numeric variable equivalent to the character %sign. You can talk about this. This is all part of Oracle running its own kind of analytics community, is out here in this community.oracle.com. So take a look at that. There's also a blog. I found this very useful for, I wanted to highlight this, using session variables in OAC. So there's a blog, there's resources out there for that type of stuff as well. All right, that's taken a while to come up there finally. So using session variables, repository variables in analytics, how you can use them in Oracle Analytics. This is stuff that sometimes people don't know on here, how to use. There's some tech talks on this, doing this. So on this, and a community hub. This is information on upcoming things, including Oracle Analytics Summit events, that type of thing taking place in the community. This is go.oracle.com/analytics community. So they even have one coming up. Roger, I want to say there's one on Thursday where they're running a Oracle Analytics live taking place.
Yep. Yeah, it was there was a general email about it actually at the end of last week.
Came out.
Yeah.
And then there's OA Live, the webinar series. They record those, and these are available as well. This is the January edition. What's coming up is the February edition on Thursday. But then they have these all recorded here as well. All resources that you can get at for this. So I wanted to show a little bit of some of those resources coming up.
Almost as good as ours.
Yeah, almost. Anything else, Roger, that we ought to make sure that we're showcasing here? We have a few minutes till our next session.
Yeah, I'm just thinking it through. I did think it might actually be worth looking at the YouTube area and just showing how that looks, as opposed to just off the website. Oh, there we are.
So this is what's up there right now. You need to click on the videos tab. I don't know, I guess this shows the most recent ones, popular uploads and such. But then you can look at the videos that are in here and you can choose how you want to sort them. Most popular, I guess, is which ones have, yeah, it never occurred to us. Looking at the analytics of how many of these have been viewed by how many people and such. So you can take a look at that and the various playlists. On playlists, Wayne, bless his heart, also puts together playlists of the TechCast days. You'll notice here it is from October 2021. This is ML Day, Graph Day, and Analytics Day. So if you want, there will be later on, take maybe a week or so. We got to give Wayne a chance to cut all the video out into its pieces and then create a playlist of the individual pieces. But there will eventually be a February 2022 TechCast days. If you want to watch the whole thing again, you can. Here it is from last October for our TechCast days. So you can watch all the individual pieces or play the whole thread for the full 3 hours.
And there's some, yeah. So actually, Peter's just raised a point. We should do the polls.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, Peter.
That'd be a great idea.
Yeah, Peter, can you fire that? We wanted to ask, what activities would you like for us to conduct more of or start new? We're kind of re-energizing this group. We want you to be active. We meet every 2 weeks or so as a user community, and that's when the board meets. And we want to know what you want to do. We actually have a survey we'd love for you to fill out. But would you like more of an in-person summit? You can vote for multiple things here. A hybrid summit, virtual TechCasts or TechCast days, hands-on labs, a newsletter, or a hackathon or contests. What would you like to see us do? We'd love for you to vote on this. We'll leave this open for a little bit. And then we have one more question. I will also share, let's see, Roger, if you can find it, the link for the poll, the full poll that we asked people using SurveyMonkey. If you can find that Sham runs. Yeah, we'd love for you to get your full responses on what you want us to do, and that way we're led by what you all want to do.
Yeah,
Okay?
I'm sorry, I haven't got access to it right now, Dan. Maybe that's
okay. I'll try and find it. Well, I'll find it during your presentation.
Okay.
I'll be able to do that.
This is Carrie. I'll find it. I'll get it up.
Thanks, Carrie.
I'll get it up in the chat.
Appreciate it.
I'm sort of juggling to get ready for my own.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough, Roger.
Okay, so
all right, so we'll leave this open for just another few seconds, and then I'm going to go to the next poll question. I think we had a second one. Let's go ahead and show the results on that. If we have, can we show them? So what I see now, wow, a lot of people, Roger, wanting hands-on labs for this. And also virtual TechCast and TechCast days. All right, we're doing something right. The hands-on labs, by the way, I will put in a plug, take a lot of resources to pull those together. So we'd love for people to help us out with that. So number one is hands-on labs. Number two is virtual TechCast and TechCast days. And then almost a tie between a hybrid summit and hackathon and contests. Not as much for, and then newsletter, and then finally in last place is in-person summit. We'd love to get together with people, but we also understand it's tough now with what's happening with the world, people not traveling as much these days. So that's good to see. We'll combine that with what we got from doing the survey. We've been running it now for several months.
Yep.
All right, let's go ahead and do we have another question to fire, Peter? Yep, there we go. So we're also, no question, we have to pay for this Zoom channel that we use, as well as services for people that are helping out for professional staff to get the news out, to get the word out about these TechCasts. How much would you pay? What's the most you would consider paying if we had a premium membership? We're pretty committed to having a free membership, but you know, with a premium membership with additional capabilities, what would you consider paying for this? $25, $49, $99, or $149? And the thought is an annual fee. What would you do, or would you not consider it in these days? So we'll leave this open for a little bit and then see what people think. And then we have more questions in the Survey Monkey survey. that we're running.
Kerry has now published that in the chat.
Okay, super. It's in the chat. Okay. All right. So I'm going to leave this open for a little bit, and then let's go ahead and share the results on that. Let's see, do I have to click to get rid of this? I can't vote because I'm a panelist.
Yeah.
All right. And so there's the results. Looks like mostly would not consider, but then some. It's split evenly between 99, 49, and 25, pretty much. So it's interesting. Okay, good to know. All right, with that, I'm going to start transitioning. We're running low on time, and I'm going to go back to my slide deck. Hopefully here, here's the resources.